Two Geeks, Two Beers, episode 78, Tom Cruise.
I watch a lot of movies.
You do?
Yeah, I watch about a movie a day. I try to.
A movie a day?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, I love movies. I grew up loving movies and had jobs and went to movies and.
Well, absolutely.
What
movies do you watch?
And then I grew up. I got to make movies and.
Do you watch? You don't watch your own movies, do you?
Those are the only films that I watch. All the.
Hello, and welcome to Two Geeks, Two Beers with me, Tom, and my fellow fan of all things pop culture in general. It's Morgan.
Hello.
So it's been a while since we did an episode dedicated to, say, a geek hero of some description. We've previously done David Bowie in episode 57, Keanu Reeves, 26, and Bruce Lee in episode 40. And this time, I'd say he's not strictly just a geek hero, but rather like an all-round Hollywood icon. I believe he deserves more credit than he's given, just for the pure art of like cinematic entertainment.
Pure art.
With the added bonus that he's actually a very good actor as well. He's underrated.
And important for you, a short man.
A short man. It's Mr. Tom Cruise. And can I say, he's actually shorter than me. I looked him up. He's apparently just under 5'6", which is what I am. So, yeah, I'd love to meet him in real life just to prove that point. So, thoughts on Tom Cruise before we start this journey?
I mean, an odd chap.
Yeah.
A strange gentleman. That being said, as a movie star, he has few rivals, I would say. He's one of the sort of few surviving examples of a true movie star.
Yeah.
You get, people nowadays, I think, are more attached to characters and franchises than they are actors. So people don't really love Chris Hemsworth; they love Thor. Like, I'll go see Chris Hemsworth as Thor as many times as you will put that in the cinema. But am I going to watch some other film with Chris Hemsworth in it? No, I'm not.
No one went to see Men in Black International, so
exactly. Yeah. And I think Cruise is one of the last few examples of a true movie star where people love Tom Cruise.
Yeah, I was thinking that today. Actually, I was thinking that exact point of how he's probably one of the last of his generation of just genuine stars, and I feel like Dwayne Johnson's probably the only example I could think of as someone who you go and see a film because it's Dwayne Johnson, whereas everyone else.
And in fact, he plays Dwayne Johnson in every film he's in.
Yeah, so you know what you're going to get. Whereas I was also thinking, can you think of anyone else who is like approaching 60, but is like still top of his game, like still appearing in massive films, massive franchises, massive, people of his era like Bruce Willis and Arnie and all that, they're kind of past it now and no one really cares. Whereas if the Tom Cruise film comes out, everyone's still interested. Mission Impossible is still massive. I
mean, having said that, mostly Mission Impossible, yeah. I mean, people weren't queuing up for The Mummy.
You'll go on to The Mummy, but yeah.
No, I take your point. I think the fact that Cruise is seemingly ageless has helped because he is carried over from that era where movie stardom was a real thing, like the 1980s, and is still going now. And I think that's why he still has that kind of that weight to him. Yeah. Not that much weight because he's quite a small man.
Well, you touched on it a little bit, how I think Tom Cruise, I feel like if you say it out loud to anyone, they'll either have a reaction of, I love Tom Cruise, or be like, ugh, Tom Cruise. I feel like if...
my natural reaction is kind of a combo of the two. Yeah. It's like, the man, but the on-screen Cruise. Oh, yeah, I love a bit of on-screen Cruise.
Exactly. But the thing is, I feel like real-life Cruise... we'll get onto it properly later, but it's obviously largely down to his belief in Scientology and how he's like the figurehead essentially of mainstream Scientology. And I feel like if you remove that, his religious beliefs, if you put that to one side, which he's allowed to believe in whatever he wants, he's allowed to do that. And he just seems like a really nice guy. There's not really been any stories that have come out about him, as far as I can see, apart from the whole dodgy relationship stuff. Ignore that. That's all still to do with Scientology. But,
right. So what you're saying is, if you ignore Tom Cruise's core beliefs, and any stories you may have heard about him in which he acts a little weird or a little strange, like when he apparently auditioned Scarlett Johansson to be his wife. If you remove all examples of bad behavior and ignore his core beliefs, Tom Cruise is a great guy.
Yeah, but he comes across as a really nice guy. Most people have just nothing but nice things to say about him. He's great with his fans. He spends like hours at premieres signing autographs and taking selfies and stuff.
That's true. Well, this again, that comes back to, like, don't know the guy personally, can't really speak to Tom Cruise as a man, but again, that speaks to Tom Cruise being a great movie star.
He knows how to do it.
He knows how to do it.
And again, we'll get onto it as well, but stunts as well. He does all his own stunts majority of the time. He learns so much crap. He really believes in everything he's doing. He wants to be doing it. And you don't get many movie stars, even Dwayne Johnson, who actually do everything. Yeah. Most of them have stunt doubles. I mean, Tom probably has the old stunt double, but generally speaking, he gets stuck in. And, insurance people must hate him, but he still does it.
I'm not convinced Dwayne Johnson can have stunt doubles because no one else looks like that. But also, I heard of Dwayne Johnson. I don't know if this is true, but I heard that Dwayne Johnson can't jump because he's so built that he's just like a muscle mass. He can't jump. He can't like move. Whereas Cruise does all his own stunts. I've said it before, but I love to see Cruise hanging off of stuff. It's like my favorite thing. That's what Mission Impossible delivers time after time. Tom Cruise hanging off of stuff. Hanging off of stuff
and running loads. Just keep
on the running. Tom Cruise running. Yeah, nothing. The only thing I love more than Tom Cruise running is Tom Cruise hanging off of stuff.
So we already touched upon the better Tom in episode 55, where I looked back at Ridley Scott's Legend, and we also did a Mission Impossible special in episode 46. That was both the TV series and the Tom Cruise film franchise. But instead of doing what we've done in the past, where we've taken, so when we did Keanu Reeves, we took like 5 or 6 of his films. I thought I'd take you on a sort of mini trip through his life and his career. Look at some fascinating facts about him, and I've kind of already done it. I was going to say a few reasons why he should be taken more seriously than he is, but I've kind of done it already, to be honest.
You've done that, you've built some fascinating facts to come. Take the bar high. We'll see.
So let's go through his life story bit by bit. So Cruise was born Thomas Cruise Mapotha IV, born in Syracuse, New York, in 1962. He's the son of special education teacher Mary Lee and electrical engineer Thomas Cruise Mapotha III. He has, I didn't know this, he has 3 sisters, and one of his cousins you may know as William Mapotha, also an actor. He's appeared alongside Cruise in Lost. 5 films, and was Ethan in Lost. Yeah. And he looks quite like him, like
he does,
like an ugly version of Tom Cruise.
At certain angles. What's he called? William Mapotha?
Yeah.
What William Mapotha looks like is if Tom Cruise was stranded on the island for a few years. Tom Cruise would end up looking like Ethan from Lost.
It says that Cruise grew up in near poverty and had a Catholic upbringing. He later described his father as a merchant of chaos, a bully, and a coward who beat his children.
He grew up in poverty.
Very good, sir. He later said, "My father was the kind of person where if something goes wrong, they kick you. It was a great lesson in my life. He'd lull you in, make you feel safe, and then bang. For me, it was like, there's something wrong with this guy. Don't trust him. Be careful around him."
Is that a great lesson? I would describe that as a great lesson.
No, yeah. So the fact that he grew up in such a shitty upbringing, shows that he did well to escape all that. His father died in 1984, so arguably before he saw how successful his son would ever become. Never got to see it. However, Tom was very close to his mother, who he described as very warm, charismatic woman, very kind, very generous. Apparently, she worked 4 jobs at any given time to take care of him and his siblings. And Tom took a paper route to pitch in. a young age. She once said, every night I'd come home, bathe my feet, and sit in the family room, and Tom would massage my feet for half an hour.
That's not weird at all. As soon as you said he had a close relationship with his mother, I was like, yeah, I can believe that of Tom Cruise. Also, Tom Cruise on a paper round. I'm just imagining him running, doing that kind of like choppy run.
Couldn't afford a bike, so he just ran.
Just absolutely pegging it, throwing papers as he sprints down the street.
She sadly passed away at age 80, only in 2017, so quite recently. He was also very protective of his sisters, and as the man of the house, took on the role of scrutinising their boyfriends when they'd come by to meet the family.
I bet they were scared of him. All of 4'0".
All right. 4'0".
When the boyfriends came round, do you think he just sat there and was like, I'm judging you silently? Gave them a bit of the Magnolia treatment. I hope so.
Very good. Very good. Cruise spent part of his childhood in Canada. When his father took a job as a defence consultant with the Canadian Armed Air Forces, his family moved in late 1971 to Ottawa. He first became involved in drama in 4th grade, and in the 6th grade, his mother left his father, taking Cruise and his sisters back to the US. And in 1978, she married another man called Jack South, who then raised him probably better than his dad by the sounds of it. Cruise briefly took on a church scholarship and was almost thinking about becoming a priest for quite a while before he became interested in acting. So, for whatever reason, decided against that.
I mean, that would have been quite something. Tom Cruise is a priest.
In his senior year of high school, he played football for the varsity team as a linebacker, but was cut from the squad after getting caught drinking beer before a game. So,
bad boy Cruise.
Yeah. Yeah.
Booze Cruise. Booze Cruise. Come on.
Very good. Very good. You thought, surely all kids at that age drank beer. Was he just...
Yeah, but like high schools are weird with football players and morals.
Aged 18, with the blessing of his mother and stepfather, Cruise moved to New York City to pursue an acting career. He worked as a busboy in New York and then went to LA to try out for TV roles. He first appeared in a bit part in the 1981 film Endless Love, best known for the song of the same name, followed by a major supporting role as a crazed military student in Taps later that year. And in 1983, Cruise was part of the ensemble cast of The Outsiders, which was probably the first role. People probably took notice of him.
What are you doing walking by your lonesome on the street, huh?
None of your business, Smarty.
What do you mean none of my business? It is my business. Look at my nose.
It's huge. Smart ass. He is a smart ass kid.
The same year, he also appeared in All the Right Moves and Risky Business, which has been described as a Generation X classic and a career maker for Tom Cruise. And I'd say,
is that it? Is that Risky Business? Yeah.
Yeah, we've all done the sock dance and going into the shot.
Sounds like a euphemism for wanking, but yeah, carry on.
The sock dance.
Just take those old records off the shelf.
That's her. She's fantastic. Yeah.
I sit and listen to them by myself.
Did you have a good time last night?
I had a great time.
Today's music ain't got the same soul.
You ever get high, Joe?
Don't let me do anything stupid. Don't worry.
I like that old time rock and roll.
Who's the U-boat commander?
Don't try to take me to a disco.
I don't remember giving permission for a party, Joe.
A party?
I still like that old time rock and roll.
I've got a trig midterm tomorrow, and I'm being chased by Guido, the killer pimp.
Kind of music just soothes the soul.
Doesn't anyone want to accomplish anything, or do we just want to make money?
Make money. Make a lot of money.
That old time rock and roll.
There's a time for playing it safe. And a time for risky business.
I'd say Risky Business, along with 1986's Top Gun, cemented his status as a superstar at a very young age. Pretty quickly, he managed to achieve that status.
And you know how often, like in conversation, me and you, but also on this podcast, when there's like a long delayed release, we'll be like, or follow up, we'll be like, who's it for? Who wants to see that? Yeah. And 1986 to now, who wants to see Top Gun 2? I'll tell you, me.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I'll wait.
It's gonna be really good.
I'm gonna wait, apparently, because it was meant to be out last week, but I can't.
And it looks really good. The trailer looks great, and the plot seems good. Miles, what's his face is in it? What's his name? Forgotten his name from Whiplash.
Miles Teller.
Him, yeah, he's in it.
You can't see, but Tom just mimed Whiplash by doing some air drumming. Brilliant.
Great for radio.
John Hamm's in it as well.
But I thought I'd take this moment to just ask. So, if on top of your head, what are your favourite Tom Cruise movies?
Oh, that's really hard. Well, I love the Mission Impossibles.
Yeah.
I love probably. I mean, Fallout might even be the best one yet. That was fantastic. Yeah. I don't love the film. I think the film's okay, but I think Magnolia is probably his best performance. I would
he's brilliant in that. Yeah.
He's really good in that. Oh, it's really hard. Oh, I love. Now you got me started. A Few Good Men. A Few Good Men is brilliant.
Do you know what? I've never seen it. Never seen A Few Good Men.
Just call yourself a Cruise fan. A Few Good Men.
But isn't that just pure court drama? And you know what I like about court dramas? I can't stand them.
Tom doesn't like courtroom dramas because of the injustice.
There's always injustice. Broadchurch Series 2 was just a write-off. Fuck off. Horrible. Carry on.
I think I'm watching the wrong courtroom dramas. But no, A Few Good Men is like written by Aaron Sorkin. So it's like Cruise does Sorkin. It's amazing. You should definitely watch A Few Good Men.
What possible good could come from putting Jessup on the stand?
He told Kendrick to order the code red.
He did? That's great. Why didn't you say so? And of course, you have proof of that. Oh, I'm sorry. I keep forgetting. You were sick the day they taught law at law school.
You put him on the stand and you get it from him.
Oh, we get it from him. Yes, no problem. We get it from him. Colonel Jessup, isn't it true that you ordered the code red on Santiago?
Listen, we're all a little...
I'm sorry, your time's run out. What do we have for the losers, Judge? Well, for our defendants, it's a lifetime at exotic Fort Leavenworth. And for defense counsel Kathy, that's right, it's a court-martial. Yes, Johnny, after falsely accusing a highly decorated Marine officer of conspiracy and perjury, Lieutenant Kathy will have a long and prosperous career teaching typewriter maintenance at the Rocco Colombo School for Women. Thank you for playing. Should we or should we not follow the advice of the galactically stupid?
That's great. Collateral, Michael Mann.
Oh, yeah, Collateral.
Fantastic in that. Again, doing something slightly different. He does die in that.
Yeah.
I mean, those are just the ones that immediately come to mind, yeah. A Few Good Men is like one of my favourite movies.
Oh, wow, okay. Well, I'm going to go through... Just going to go run through his films because it's just fun to do. Because he's just done so many.
All of them?
Well, all the main ones. But for me, you know, I've already said how much I love Legend just because of my childhood. I love that film. Jerry Maguire, really love that film.
Now, I have never seen Jerry Maguire. Literally,
I think you'd love it.
All I know is Show Me the Money. That's all I know.
Yeah, but it's one of those films where...
And You Had Me at Hello.
Yeah, it's one of those films where, like, on paper, I shouldn't like it because it is quite wanky in its own way. But I think Tom Cruise makes it. He's just brilliant in it.
I am out here for you. You don't know what it's like to be me out here for you. It is an up at dawn, pride-swallowing siege that I will never fully tell you about, okay? Just, God, help me. Help me, Rod. Help me. Help you. Help me. Help you. Help me. Help you.
What I will say about most Cruise movies is that the premise is normally pretty clear. It's like Cruise does this. It's Cruise flies planes. Cruise is a secret agent. Whatever. I've never really understood from an outsider's perspective what the premise is of Jerry Maguire. It's like Tom Cruise is a sports agent, and he's sort of so is it like a sports drama? No, but it's sort of a romantic comedy because he's romancing Renee Zellweger. But also Cuba Gooding Jr. is in it, and he's saying "Show me the money." I don't understand what Jerry Maguire is about.
Yeah, do you want me to tell you? Or should we just move on?
Let's just move on. I don't think it's going to help.
I mean, you've already said Collateral is one of my favourites. Brilliant. Of the Mission Impossibles, I'd say Ghost Protocol is still my favourite. I love Fallout, but that's my favourite. And Edge of Tomorrow is fantastic. I don't know if you've seen it, but
I've not seen it. No,
just a rare nothing. Obviously, it's based on a book, or a graphic novel, but it's a rare not part of a franchise film. It was like an original concept, but because it was Tom Cruise and Emily Blunt, big name stars, people wanted to see it. It was great.
Excuse me. Yes? Who said you could talk to me? I got something on my face, soldier.
You did. Tomorrow. At the beach. Tomorrow. At the beach. We meet.
You said to find you when I wake up. You do know what's happening to me.
Come with me. Now.
I've got a bit of a soft spot for Vanilla Sky.
Oh no.
Yeah. No one really likes Vanilla Sky, but I think it's really good. But let's just go through just this list just shows, in my opinion, he's just got range as well. He's got sort of a lot of different types of films as well. So you got Risky Business in '83, Legend in '85, Top Gun '86.
Excuse me, Lieutenant. Is there something wrong?
Yes, ma'am. The data on the MiG is inaccurate.
How's that, Lieutenant?
Well, I just happened to see a MiG-28 We happened to see a MiG-28 do a 4G negative dive.
Where did you see this?
That's classified.
It's what?
It's classified? I could tell you, but then I'd have to kill you.
Lieutenant, I have top secret clearance. The Pentagon sees to it that I know more than you.
Oh, ma'am, it doesn't seem so in this case now, does it?
So, Lieutenant, where exactly were you?
Well, started up on his 6 when he pulled through the clouds, and then I moved in above him.
Well, if you were directly above him, how could you see him?
Because I was inverted.
Same year as The Colour of Money. Great film with Paul Newman. Yeah, fantastic. Cocktail. It's not the best film in the world, but he's so slick and awesome in it. It's great. Rain Man. What a great performance.
Rain Man is good. Yeah, I like Rain Man.
Of course, I'm an excellent driver.
You know how to drive?
Yeah.
Raymond! You never touch the steering wheel when I'm driving. Do you hear me?
Yeah.
Do you hear me?
Of course, I don't have my underwear.
What?
I mean, so far, your argument of Tom Cruise having range, he basically plays like a bit of a cocky shit in all of those movies.
He is a cocky shit in most films, but you love him. You love him for it. I've never seen Born on the 4th of July, but people say it's really good.
That's the kind of insight you can expect from two beers.
That's the problem, Mom. I'm not dead. I gotta live. I gotta live and I gotta roll around. I gotta remind him of Vietnam. And you don't want to know. You don't want to see us. You want to hide us. You want to hide us because it is a can of shit. And I am a fucking dummy.
Days of Thunder, again, very good. You've said how much Few Good Men's fantastic.
Yeah, that is fantastic.
Do you know what? I don't know why I've never seen the film, because it's right on my street. It's a thriller starring Tom Cruise. Why haven't I ever seen it?
That's what you need to know. What's the plot? I don't care. Does Tom Cruise run in it? Yes. But, does he hang off stuff? No. All right, 1 out of 2 ain't bad. I'll watch it.
Interview with the Vampire, fantastic in its own way. You wouldn't think he would be great as a vampire, as a Lestat, but he's really good in it.
Famously, a lot of people, when he was announced as Lestat, were aghast at Lestat, saying that he was all wrong, that he was. Sorry to bring it up again, but he was too short. But then the film came out and people loved it.
I've trained you to the point of death. If I leave you here, you die. Or you can be young always, my friend. As we are now. But you must tell me, will you come or no?
A bit of a mix of Jerry Maguire and Mission Impossible. A bit of a mixed bag of Eyes Wide Shut in '99. But, it was what it was. Same year as Magnolia, which we've said is one of his best performances.
No! You will not control me. No! You will not take my soul. No! You will not win this game. Because it is a game, guys. You want to think it's not, huh? You want to think it's not, you go back to the schoolyard and you have that crush on big-titted Mary Jane. Respect the cock.
Mission Impossible 2. We've said how much we love that in the Mission Impossible episode, Limp Bizkit and all that. Vanilla Sky, it's an odd one because you don't know where it's going and it's all sorts of things trying to be lots of different things all at once, but I think it's underrated and it's got a great atmosphere. Totally, people forget Minority Report. Really good.
Oh my
really
god, I
sci-fi.
forgot Minority Report. Minority Report is great. Yeah.
Great sci-fi.
And also it's got like a really good example of someone saying the name of the film in the film. One of the best ones of all time, where he says, "Where's my Minority Report?" Really good. Really good.
From 20th Century Fox.
He set me up. He set me up.
And DreamWorks Pictures.
Who's the victim? I've never heard of him, but I'm supposed to kill him in less than 36 hours.
He's coming here to get her.
Tom Cruise.
I need your help. You contain information. I need to know how to get at it.
In a Steven Spielberg film.
I have to know. I have to find out what happened in my life.
You tell me, who was it who set this up?
I don't know. How about now?
And the one chance that you've got to see Tom Cruise team up with Billy Connolly is in The Last Samurai in 2003, and he's great in that as well. Again,
so long.
It is very long.
How long is The Last Samurai?
Let's have a look. I do remember it being
I'll say how long it is. Too long.
Too long. Cut this down. 2 hours 40 minutes.
Too long. It's a good film though. It is good. I do enjoy it.
Collateral, we've said.
You're alive. I saved you. Do I get any thanks? No. All you can do is clam up. You want to talk? Tell me to fuck off?
Fuck off. You have to kill Fanning?
The fuck is Fanning?
Fanning, the cop. Why'd you have to kill him? He probably got family, kids that's gonna grow up without him. He believed me.
Oh, I should have saved him because he believed you.
No, not that.
Yeah, that.
Yeah, well, yeah, that. What's wrong with that?
That's what I do for a living.
Some living.
Head downtown.
What's downtown?
Well, how are you at math? Sorry for 5 hits? I did 4.
Why didn't you just kill me and get another cab driver?
Because you're good. We're in this together. Fates intertwined, cosmic coincidence, you know.
You're full of shit.
All that crap. I'm full of shit. You're a monument of it. You even bullshitted yourself. All I am is taking out the garbage, killing bad people.
Well, that's what you said.
You believe me?
Now, this is a mixed one. I've said this before, I'm sure, on our podcast. If I haven't, I'm saying it for the first time now.
A mixed one. We've already talked about Cocktail.
Very good. 2005's War of the Worlds. Now, it's half really good when it's just the Tom Cruise bits.
Yeah.
All the bits involving his fucking annoying children, it's one of the worst movies ever made. It's not the kid actors' fault. They do what they can, but they're pointless. They're really annoying.
Yeah.
I don't care if they survive. Get rid of them. The bits where it's just him, great.
I also had it in my head that people hated that version of War of the Worlds, but actually, I think it went down quite well at the time.
Yeah, it was a box office. I think it was the biggest hit that year at the cinema.
And despite being set in the present day in America, it's actually reasonably faithful to the original story. Even the ridiculous ending where his son apparently died in a ball of flame.
Yeah, that was stupid.
But then he arrives home and his son is fine. That's exactly fine. You swap out his son for his wife, but that's exactly what happens in the original story. So don't blame Spielberg, don't blame Cruise.
Yeah. And it was the last time Tim Robbins was really good in anything, so it's worth seeing for that. Mission Impossible 3. It's one of your favourites of the Mission Impossible.
Yeah, underrated. I think definitely the most underrated entry in the franchise.
You could argue that he was very much the best thing in Tropic Thunder. Bloody hilarious in that.
I would. Yeah, I think that's a strong argument. Definitely.
This is Les Grossman. Who is this?
This is Flaming Dragon!
Oh, okay. Flaming Dragon. Fuckface. First, take a big step back and literally fuck your own face! Now, I don't know what kind of pan-Pacific bullshit power play you're trying to pull here, but Asia Jack is my territory. So whatever you're thinking, you better think again. Otherwise, I'm going to have to head down there, and I will rain down on a godly fucking firestorm upon you. You're going to have to call the fucking United Nations and get a fucking binding resolution to keep me from fucking destroying you. I am talking scorched earth, motherfucker. I will massacre you. I will fuck you up.
One of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life is Tom Cruise hamming it up to the nines as Les Grossman, whilst Matthew McConaughey, who came in at the last minute to replace Owen Wilson, who wasn't able to do it at the time, he came in at the last minute, and Matthew McConaughey is brilliant in that scene because he's playing it straight. He's being a straight man because he's concerned about his client Ben Stiller, who's lost in the jungle, being taken over by terrorists, and Les Grossman being all wacky with Bill Hader just being Bill Hader in the background. And then it's just one of the most funniest scenes of that era of comedies. So, and I remember being in the cinema for that film, and because it wasn't announced at the time that Tom Cruise was going to be in it, And then at the end, when it did all the cast names, I remember hearing someone behind me go, "That wasn't Tom Cruise." Like they just couldn't believe that it was Tom Cruise.
A transformative actor.
Yeah. See, I've never seen Valkyrie. I've got to say, so I don't.
Oh, I have, and
yeah.
It's not a bad movie, but Tom Cruise is not. No matter what you think about his abilities as an actor, Tom Cruise is usually well cast, isn't he? Like he suits the sort of roles he plays. In that, he's playing a German, I believe, who tried to kill Hitler. And it's just ridiculous when you hear Cruise in his typical Cruise way delivering lines like, "Hitler's Germany has seen its last sunrise," and it's just like, no, you can't pull this off, Tom Cruise. It's not a bad film, but he's not the right person to be in that movie.
It's funny because I know it's the dumb thing. People still do it in films where, even though we know they're German, but they're just going to talk in American or British accents just for the sake of it. But I feel like even now, I reckon they'd probably go out of their way to try and just do it with German actors now. Do you know what I mean? I feel like they wouldn't, or at least get them to do it speak in German, or or at least their German accent. Do you know what I mean? At the very least, they would try and do that.
Because famously, Germans don't speak German; they speak English with a German accent. I don't think it was even the fact that it was American accents. It was the fact that it was Tom Cruise specifically.
I enjoyed Night and Day. Don't care what anyone says.
When you're going to go through the films, I was like, at what point is Tom going to talk? I know you like Vanilla Sky, but I was like, I bet he's going to say how much he likes Night and Day as well.
Look, it wasn't the best film, but it was just Tom Cruise being Tom Cruise and Cameron Diaz being Cameron Diaz, having a great old laugh, and it was brilliant.
I feel like, though, a lot of Tom Cruise's films will, like the man himself, will elicit some kind of reaction, some kind of strong reaction. And that's either that film's brilliant or it's that film is terrible, that film is not for me. Night and Day, I think, is the most nothing Tom Cruise film. It's just, I bet most people haven't even seen it or even have an opinion on it. It's just a bit, just a bit bleh.
Ghost Protocol, we've talked about that. This was an odd one. Rock of Ages. Now, this was the film where the worst accent in the film was Russell Brand trying to be from Birmingham. Considering he's British, that was dreadful. But it didn't go down that well. But it was one of those films where one of the best things about it, and one of the few things that critics loved, was Tom Cruise as Stacey Jacks. He was just very charismatic, genuinely funny. He could, and he actually made an effort and sang. He actually took singing lessons for months, and he was really good at it.
Of course he did.
So yeah, it didn't. Bit of a weird. It was obviously based on a musical, but
Have you ever seen like Wired do those autocomplete interviews?
Oh yeah.
If you haven't ever seen any of those, they're really good. They're really entertaining. Look them up on YouTube. Wired autocomplete interviews. But there's one with Tom Cruise that's either that format or a very similar format, where it's like, can Tom Cruise really do this? And he's just answering fan questions, and it's like, can Tom Cruise really fly a plane? He's like, yes, I can fly a plane. I got my pilot's license. And it's like, can Tom Cruise really hold his breath underwater for 5 minutes? He's like, I can actually hold my breath underwater for 6 minutes and 30 seconds. And it's just like all this incredible shit that Tom Cruise can do. So it's no surprise that he actually just like taught himself how to sing incredibly well for Rock of Ages. So that's the least of his accomplishments.
2012. Now this was it went down a bit odd. Was Jack Reacher. Now it was one of those things where he was really good in it. People enjoyed his performance.
I don't want to keep bringing up the height thing.
Yeah, I know. This is
Jack
where
Reacher is like famously tall.
Yeah. Famously tall character. Like he's meant to be like he's meant to be like Dwayne Johnson, essentially, like really massive guy. And then you cast Tom Cruise, who's famously not so tall. So it's a bit of a strange one, but he was really good in it. But if
Tom Cruise was ever called Reacher, it was probably just because he was like struggling to get something off a high shelf.
I haven't seen Oblivion, so don't know if that's any good or not. Have you seen Oblivion?
What's Oblivion?
It's like I think it's a sci-fi with him and Morgan Freeman. All I know about Oblivion is that there's a poster and it's Tom Cruise, and then behind him is some sort of massive sphere bubble thing. And anyone who's seen Oblivion now hates everything that is this podcast because I've just undersold it.
Do you know what? I feel bad about Night and Day. I'm going to take it back. That is the most nothing Tom Cruise film because I've never even heard of it. Never even heard of it.
It's a post-apocalyptic action adventure film. I mean, it stars Olga Kurylenko, one of the worst Bond girls of all time. So, you know, it's based
She's
on
fine. She's fine. You just hate Quantum of Solace.
I do really hate Quantum of Solace. Anyway, there's that. Edge of Tomorrow, we've said. Rogue Nation, which was probably the duffer of the recent Mission Impossible films, I'd say, but still good.
I think the reason I completely blanked on Oblivion is because it came out around about the same time as Edge of Tomorrow, and I think they were the same. Yeah. I think I thought they were the same movie, if I'm honest.
Yeah, fair enough. Now, this was a rare... He did 2 rare duffers in a row, I've got to say. So he did Jack Reach and Never Go Back, and that's exactly what they should have done, because it was fucking dreadful. Like, I really enjoyed Jack Reacher, the first one, and then the second one came out, and it was fucking rubbish, really boring crap.
Really boring crap.
And then The Mummy as well, just such a shame. Again, I think the reviews of him were all right. I think like he did a decent job, but just the whole idea and the way they made it, and the way they were like, "You've got to go and see all these films, you bastards. You're going to see it, whether you like it or not."
I mean, we've talked about this before about how presumptuous they were. I talked about this before. I'm going to talk about it again. The oddest thing that Hollywood has ever done, I think. Everyone got G'd up because of the MCU, and they went, right, we're going to do this dark universe. Let's get all these people in a room. Javier Bardem, is it Johnny Depp, Tom Cruise, some other people. Russell Crowe.
Angelina Jolie. Yeah.
Angelina Jolie. Like, they're going to be the stars of the dark universe, and we're going to do this franchise. And then they just didn't. Because the Mummy flopped at the box office, and now there's just this picture, and it means nothing.
Yeah.
It's just a strange relic of an idea that never materialized. What an odd thing to do. But the one thing that is good about the Mummy, the one thing the Mummy gave to pop culture, to society, is that leaked version of the trailer. Have you ever seen this? There's a leaked version of the trailer without like proper soundscape and sound effects, so music and stuff. So all you can hear is Tom Cruise screaming,
and it's like a terrifying scream.
It's a terrifying. So when there's in the trailer, there's like a plane that's crashing, and it's just Cruise screaming. And I'm not convinced I've ever heard Tom Cruise scream before. And it's just him being like, "Oh, oh!" It gave us that. If nothing else.
It did give us that. I've not seen American Made, but it looked really good, and people said it was really good. And then Fallout, and then still to come, we got Top Gun Maverick and Mission Impossible 7. So the man has range, is what I'm trying to say. And
I mean, I don't think just by listing his films, you've in any way proved that he has range. Those are just some films he was in.
It's a fun experience when you go through an actor's filmography, and I'd say 90% of those were big hits. You know,
that's a different point entirely. But yes, no, I will take that. That relatively few duffers in the Cruise canon.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to say. Thank you. All right. So let's go through a few more stuff about him. So he apparently splits his time between his homes in Beverly Hills. He's got another home in Colorado, another one in Florida, and then Dulwich in London, and East Grinstead in West Sussex. Now, apparently, I can't remember which one, but one of those, there is a big Scientology station, so that's probably why he lives near one of those. But still, just like the idea that if you're in those areas, you might walk around and see Tom Cruise just milling about. You know,
if you look down.
Not for me. Well, actually, even for me.
You'd have to adjust your vision an inch. Otherwise, just walk right past him.
In terms of his personal life, he's had several relationships with older women in the early to mid 1980s, including Rebecca De Mornay, who's 3 years older than him, Patty Schieffer, 9 years older than him, and I didn't know about this, Cher. He dated Cher for a while. Yeah, 16 years older than Tom Cruise, and in the 80s they just went out for a while and still good mates. You know.
Still good mates. Still hang out all the time. Yeah. Cruise and Cher. Do they?
Yeah, I saw a photo. There was a photo of them not that long ago. But he might not be aware that he married actress Mimi Rogers first in 1987, and they divorced 3 years later. And it was apparently Rogers that introduced Cruise to Scientology. So it's all down to her. But what I like about it was the best man for that wedding was Emilio Estevez. So, you know,
can't get more 80s than that. They were in Young Guns together.
Yeah, and obviously similar height as well. So maybe it made Tom Cruise look taller. Yeah.
Yeah.
He met his second wife, Nicole Kidman, on the set of their film Days of Thunder in 1990, and they married on Christmas Eve that year. They adopted 2 children, and in 2001, Cruise filed for divorce while she was unknowingly pregnant, it says here, but sadly the pregnancy ended in a miscarriage. Cruise was next romantically linked with Penelope Cruz, his co-star in Vanilla Sky. Now, do you think he did that purely because of their names?
Because of the brand.
Yeah.
So it's like, if they had got married, she would have had to become Penelope Cruz. And
Yeah.
it still sounds the same, it's only the spelling is different. Yeah.
It's quite genius. When
She's like, Tom, do I really have to change my name? And it's like, yes, the ISE is important. Look, it means a lot to me.
However, their relationship ended in 2004. In an article published in 2012 in Vanity Fair, it said that several sources have said that after the breakup with Cruz, Scientologist leaders launched a secret project to find Cruz a new girlfriend, which you touched on earlier. Now, according to those sources, a series of auditions of Scientologist actresses resulted in a short-lived relationship. Now, you said Scarlett Johansson. I don't have that here, but apparently it was with British Iranian actress Nazanin Benaidi. How many Mother fans will remember her as Ted's girlfriend Nora, among other things, who subsequently left Scientology. So I feel like she went through all that.
The relationship with Cruz was so bad that she turned her back on her religious belief. Do you know what? Is hell a thing in Scientology? I'm happy to go to hell if it means I get away from this man.
But Scientology and Cruz's lawyers issued strongly worded denials and threatened to sue, accusing Vanity Fair of shoddy journalism and religious bigotry. So who knows what actually happened there. In 2005, Cruz began dating Katie Holmes, dubbed Tomcat by the media. They made their first public appearance together in Rome that year.
Which now is kind of fine, and we all accept it. But do you remember that was an odd pairing at the time, that Tom Cruise was dating Joey from Dawson's Creek.
Well, it was like when Harrison Ford started going out of Ally McBeal. It was like, where did that come from?
Although
still together.
I know a lot of cynics out there about when Harrison Ford started dating Ally McBeal, which I believe is her real name, and yet, you know what, still together. Good on him. Good on him.
Yeah. A month later, Cruise publicly declared his love for Holmes, famously on the Oprah Winfrey Show, jumping up and down on Winfrey's couch during the show. And I think, you know how jumping the shark became a thing for when a show's gone too far in homage of the Fonz, jumping the shark on Happy Days. I think it was a thing where jumping the couch was a thing where if you just gone a bit crazy, you just done something really ridiculous.
I'm not going to pretend.
I can see you're not. You know, Katie once told 17 magazine, yes! The boy is gone. The boy is gone. He's gone.
I am.
Okay.
This is something I have to discuss with her personally, but you know.
In April 2006, their daughter Suri was born. And in November that year, Holmes and Cruise married at a Scientologist ceremony attended by many Hollywood stars who are also from Scientology, like Will Smith and co. There has been widespread speculation that the marriage was arranged by the Church of Scientology. But again, who knows? David...
That's fine. I think we're covered. We won't get sued.
How do I pronounce this? I searched this at the time and I still can't work it out. I'm going to have to... you have to go on those little... How do you pronounce this? On YouTube.
Who is it?
I can't say his name, so I can't tell you. Okay, good. David Miscavige, the head of Scientology, served as Cruise's best man. So that shows who his friends were at.
I mean, it shows who his friends were at the time and nothing else. It's definitely not suspect at all. It's like, is this an arranged marriage arranged by the heads of Scientology? No, definitely not. Who's your best man? It is the head of Scientology, but we're just men. We're just great men. We just get on really well. You know, me, him, and Cher, we go for a beer all the time.
It'd be like if Jesus was your best man, just because
Jesus.
Well,
it's like L. Ron Hubbard was not Tom Cruise's best man. It's more like if the Pope was
I forget that Scientology isn't something that was invented in 2002. It's been around for a lot longer than that. So yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm going to get hounded by Scientologists now, aren't I? However, in 2012, Holmes filed for divorce from Cruise. So that's the end of that story. In addition to promoting various programs that introduce people to Scientology, in 2005, the Paris City Council revealed that Cruise had lobbied various leaders, including Nicolas Sarkozy and Jean-Claude Gaudin. They described him as a militant spokesperson for Scientology and barred any further dealings with him. So they were like, leave us alone, Tom. Fucking hell.
But again, put all this aside.
Put all aside. You know, he's really passionate about Scientology, okay? Really passionate about it. No, I promised facts, didn't I? So let's do some facts.
No, don't sell that short. You promised fascinating facts.
Fascinating
Don't try and weasel out of that now.
Okay. So we talked about the Risky Business sock dance earlier.
Yeah.
Apparently, the only direction Cruise received for that iconic dance in Risky Business was one line in the script. It says, "Joel dances in underwear through the house." That's all it said. Apparently, he ad-libbed the rest, grabbing the candlestick and using it as a guitar, jumping on the table. He said, "I waxed half the floor and kept the other half dirty so I could slide in on my socks. As we went along, I threw more stuff in." So I just like the idea that he came up with, easily the best part of the film, the thing that it's remembered for.
Having never seen Risky Business, that's literally that's all I know about Risky Business is the sock dance. And the crystal egg from Risky. Is it an egg? Crystal egg?
Yeah.
From Risky
Is that
Business?
because of the OC?
I only know that because of the episode of the OC about the crystal egg from Risky Business. So.
Top Gun producers Jerry Bruckheimer and Don Simpson envisaged no one other than Tom Cruise playing Maverick after they saw a magazine story about the elite flying school at San Diego's Miramar Naval Air Station. They went down to see the hot shots in person. They said, from the first time we went down to Miramar, even before the script was written, we said, these guys are just Tom Cruises. So Bruckheimer was like, well, it's just Tom Cruise, so we have to get it.
It's just a load of cocky shits. So
yeah, but I love that by 1986, he's not like, he's only done a few films at that point, and already he had cemented himself as, well, it's got to be this guy. Paul Newman, his co-star in The Colour of Money, turned him onto race car driving. So Paul Newman loved a bit of race car driving and taught Tom Cruise everything he knew about race car driving. But years later, the student became the teacher when in 2010, Cruise then taught Zac Efron about motorcycles. Zac Efron said, I don't know why he did that. I don't even want to know. It's just so cool that he gave a shit. The fact that he cared at all. So I like the idea that like he got to 2010 and Tom Cruise was like, I want to do what Paul Newman did for me. I love motorcycles.
Who is the Tom Cruise to my Paul Newman? It's Zac Efron. Zach, I'm going to teach you about motorcycles. And he's like, okay, Dad. I mean, Tom. What's going on?
I love the way he's like, I don't know why. I don't want to know. But it was great he did. But all right. But I don't think they starred in a film together. I think he just sort of picked Zac Efron.
No, they didn't. He just tracked down Zac. He was like, I think Zac Efron is very much the next generation's Tom Cruise. I'm going to find Efron. And he just knocks on Zac Efron's door and is like, Tom Cruise? Zac, I'm here to talk to you about bikes.
The guy from War of the Worlds hasn't become a big enough star, so it has to be you. So Disney apparently had Tom Cruise in mind when they created the look and title character in Aladdin. Apparently, that's who they saw in their head.
You think of an Arabian prince, you think Tom Cruise.
Lead animator Glenn Keane said there's a confidence with all of his attitudes and his poses. So apparently it was all modelled on Tom Cruise. And you kind of see it when you think about it long enough.
It's a very nice way of saying he's a cocky shit, but yeah.
Yeah. There was a rumour that Cruise actually turned down the role of Iron Man, which would have changed the whole vibe of the Marvel Universe, but apparently it's not true.
No, I remember he was rumoured a lot back in the day. If they had made an Iron Man movie in the 90s, would have been great.
Yeah, but if they had done Tom Cruise in 2008, I think it would have been all about Tom Cruise. But I think it worked that it was Robert Downey Jr. who at that point was
Cruise's star power would have derailed the MCU. Yeah. It wouldn't have worked. But you know why he would have made a good Tony Stark?
Why? Cocky shit?
Exactly.
Yeah. But in 2018, he told comicbook.com, not close, and I love Robert Downey Jr., and I can't imagine anyone else in that role, and I think it's perfect for him. I mean, he's not saying it definitely wasn't the case, but, I like the idea that at least behind the scenes, he might not have known about it. But
I feel like he might be being diplomatic as well. I bet he was up for it at some point.
Yeah. For 2011's Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol, Cruise hung off the edge of the Burj Khalifa in Dubai, the world's tallest building, without a double. I mean, we probably spoke about this in the Mission Impossible episode. But while he'd been doing as much of his own physical labouring as possible for decades, this arguably kind of, really cemented his reputation as the guy who kind of does his own stuff.
I think the only thing he can do in the next one. Well, I always said the only thing he can do in the next one is to do like that space jump.
Yeah.
Felix Baumgartner or something.
Yeah.
He like jumped from space through Earth's atmosphere. That's the only thing Tom Cruise could do next. And I always said that as like a joke. But Tom Cruise is now actually like doing a movie in space. Yeah. So like he's working with NASA on the first movie to be filmed in space. So I don't know if it's like a documentary or what, but like he's apparently just going to do it. I mean, if you're going to do it anyway, it might as well be Tom Cruise. It's got to be Cruise.
Yeah. He would. I think he would have flipped his shit if it wasn't him doing it, to be honest. But yeah, and then in all the other Mission Impossible films since, he's done that. He hung off the airplane as it took off. He did the helicopter in the last one.
Yeah. I think my favourite Tom Cruise hanging off stuff is him hanging off the plane. That's prime Tom Cruise hanging off stuff.
He did his own motorcycle chase, and he learned, as you say, how to hold his breath for 6.5 minutes.
Was I actually right about 6.5 minutes?
Yeah, so it says here.
I just pulled that out of my ass. Amazing.
Yeah. Cruise also did his own skydiving along with Henry Cavill's stunt double, dangled from a rope attached to a flying helicopter, which I just think is hilarious because if you're Henry Cavill, you just feel a little bit shit that like Tom Cruise is far older than you and he's doing all his stunts and you have to get a stunt double to do it for
like properly stacked as well, like a manliest man. But he's like, fuck that, I'm not doing that.
Yeah. But yeah, apparently he got his certification in 6 weeks to fly a helicopter. So just really fast tracked it. Apparently it normally takes 3 months, but he was like, fuck it, I'm going to do it. I'm going to train for 16 hours a day and I'm going to do it. He also played pool for 12 hours a day to play his character in The Colour of Money. And he also lost 18 pounds and read classic books out loud to work on his diction for Lestat, an interview with a vampire. And he did learn German to at least embody a World War II era officer in Valkyrie. So he learned German, but they wouldn't let him do it because,
But it was all good for background.
Yeah, exactly. In 1981, the sunglasses company Ray-Ban was in trouble, apparently. But now the very famous brand, and at the time, they only sold about 18,000 models in a year. But because of Tom Cruise, he kind of single-handedly saved the entire business because he used shades so much in Risky Business, Top Gun, and Rain Man. And in the year the Top Gun was released, Ray-Ban enjoyed like a 40% increase in sales. So it's all down to Tom Cruise that the company is still alive.
So thousands of jobs.
Yeah, exactly.
The American economy saved by Tom Cruise.
He has apparently repeatedly denied requests for his likeness to be made into video games and action figures. So if you think about it, I can't remember there being a good video game with Tom Cruise in it, because that's probably why. But it's just a shame, because I'd love a Mission Impossible game as Ethan Hunt.
Is there any reason why? Has he just got some weird conspiracy theory about, like, if they scan his face, it'll take part of his soul or something?
Maybe. It doesn't give me a reason, but apparently he's just very against it. Maybe who was the guy in that I took the piss out of in the James Bond video games? Get him to do it instead.
You know what? I can't remember his name. How terrible is that?
Go back and listen to our video games, James Bond video games episode to know what we're talking about.
To hear us lay into a man whose name we now don't even remember. That's how little respect we have. What a pair of wankers.
According to Men's Health, Cruise is also no Grinch when it comes to fans. As we sort of touched on earlier, he normally spends more than 2 hours interacting with them at events on average.
What an odd phrase. Like, if it was Jim Carrey, you go, he's no Grinch, but like, what the fuck do I do with Tom Cruise? Anyway, carry on.
People are really kind to come out, he said, so I want to say hello. So it makes sense. There's not many actors who spend as long as he does with his fans. Now, you could say that he's kind of just playing it all for the cameras, all of this. In terms of him being just a great guy and nice and all that kind of stuff. But we'll never know. So, leave him alone.
But fucking prove it. You can't prove it.
But B, if he is, don't care. Good on him. He's still doing it.
No.
He's still.
I
so often you see famous people just walk in and go cheers and then walk straight in.
No, I always say that. Like, as long as people are polite, it's why I quite like my whenever I've been to America, and Cruise is the ultimate American hero. I like it that people are nice to my face. Have a nice day. Fine. I don't care if they hate me. As long as people are nice to my face, that's all I care about.
Like on the very, very few occasions that I went to the gym, I used to find it used to fill me with a little bit of warmth when you go to, because you scan in and then the receptionist, whoever it is, will just go, "Oh, hi, Tom." They know what they're doing. I know that they don't care who I am. I know they don't know who I am, but I like it. It's like good. It's a nice little thing to have.
I want to quit the gym.
Yeah. Exactly. Plus, apparently, he saved a woman from being mugged in London back in 1998 after chasing away the attackers.
God, imagine seeing Cruise running at you with the arms. You'd be terrified.
And 2 years earlier, he pulled over to help a hit-and-run victim on Santa Monica Boulevard, and then followed her to the emergency room and checked in on her the next day. And he paid for a $7,000 hospital bill as well. So all in all, great guy. Now, I assume it was her that released the story and not his people, but still, I think it was obviously a great guy.
Church of Scientology, yeah.
So again, if you're able to just put any negative thoughts about Tom's private life or his religious beliefs just to one side, I think, as we've said, you'll realise that he's one of the last true Hollywood icons, and we've been bloody lucky to have him. That's all I'm saying.
You could say that about anyone, though. You could say, if you put all of their negative aspects aside, they're great. They're great. Really good person.
So thoughts in general as we wrap it up?
Yeah, I mean, you haven't really talked me round, but I'm not sure I needed talking round, really. I think he's an odd man. I think he's made some strange decisions in his life. All that being, I don't think he has enormous range, but I think on occasion when he does mix it up a little bit, like in Magnolia or in Collateral, where ordinarily he plays a heroic cocky shit, and in those films he plays a villainous cocky shit. So it's slightly different. He is one of the last great movie stars. Always an entertaining screen presence. Always happy to see Tom Cruise on my screen.
Yeah, like when you see a trailer for a new Tom Cruise film, 9 times out of 10 you're like, yes, this looks good.
And if he's hanging off stuff, all the better.
Exactly. Well, that's it. Thanks for listening to my little ode to Tom Cruise. If you'd like more shameless drunken ramblings about various geeky topics, then head to 2geeks2beers.com and you can download and subscribe on there, however you get your podcasts. If you know a friend or family member who likes the geeky stuff, perhaps find a topic that we've done in the past, send them a link. We've done all kinds of things by now. And then they might tell their friends, and then they might tell their friends, and so on, and so on. So yeah, please do share and get in touch as well on the email, which is podcast@2geeks2beers.com if you want to recommend anything or just get in touch in any way, shape or form.
Unless you're the Church of Scientology, in which case that's definitely not our email. And please don't get in touch.
It's actually we love Tom Cruise at.
You can also find us across all social media platforms at 2geekscast on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. So please do get in touch there. Our DMs are open. And you can find not just clips, but now full episodes of 2 Geeks, 2 Beers on YouTube. Tom has begun, as very much the technical brains behind this operation, has begun uploading.
Good luck to us all.
Tom has begun uploading the archive, the magnificent archive of this podcast to YouTube, giving it a nice little visual overhaul as well. So if you're looking for the latest episode of the show, that'll be always uploaded now to YouTube as well as other podcast platforms. And we're gradually uploading the older episodes as well, with the hope that eventually the entire archive will be on YouTube.
Yeah. And also you can support us in any way you would like on Patreon. If you go to patreon.com/2geekscast, you'll be able to have exclusive goodies. We're now going to start we have already started uploading the full episodes a few days in advance. If you'd like to get it earlier before anyone else, you can get it on there. As well as clips and outtakes, and you'll also be able to get a special episode that you can only get there just by donating even just £1 or $1 a month. and a little bit more, and you can actually ask for an episode of your choice. Any subject matter you'd like, we'll do a little mini-sode just for you. So that's it. Thanks very much. We'll play out with, I mentioned it earlier, the only time he sang, as far as I'm aware, in Rock of Ages, just so you get a little taste of how good he is at that. So this is Tom Cruise brilliantly singing Dead or Alive by Bon Jovi. So enjoy. As to promote the film, Night and Day. We're on Top Gear with Jeremy Clarkson.
I don't remember that at all.
No. Well, it was like they did the star in a reasonably priced car thing, and they just so happened to be the two fastest of all time. And it was and fans were at the time were like, And the reason for that was when it was Tom Cruise's lap, I'm pretty certain that they kind of cut at a certain point where they wouldn't normally cut, so you didn't really get to see it in real time that you normally would, and they just happened to be the fastest. But what I did like is that even then, he, like, if it was him in the car, he like on the last bit, Gambon corner, whatever it's called, he like did a wheelie at the last minute, because he was so had the need for speed so much that he had to actually like go around the corner like that.
So the Church of Scientology steps in and goes, Tom will do this, but only if he is not only the fastest man who ever lived, but he gets to do a wheelie.
Yeah,
just as he passes over the finish line.
Yeah.
What a cocky!
But I'd like to believe it was real. I'd like to think that Jeremy Clarkson wouldn't stand for that. Do you know what I mean?
No,
he's not the sort of person that would go. You know.
No, he'd punch him in the face. And you should never punch down. So
pick on someone your own size, Jeremy. All right.